will discuss class today we will discuss audit of cash. Okay, let's start with scope. Sir, ano ba yung scope na audit of cash in the board exam? Two things. Number one is cash, and number two is cash equivalents. Okay, so cash and cash equivalents. So yun yung i-cover natin sa audit of cash. Isa-isay natin. Let's start with cash. Okay, so alam nyo ito sa FAR. Quick review lang tayo. Okay, so there are two types of cash. Number one, cash on hand. And number two, cash in bank. Okay, so in the board exam, for cash on hand, usually ang tinatanong sa'yo dyan is about the petty cash fund. Ano ulit yung petty cash fund? It's fund set aside for minor or small disbursements. Okay? For example, sa office, bibili kayo ng office supplies. O kaya naman, magbabayad kayo ng transpo. O kaya magpapadeliver kayo ng food. So, instead of issuing checks, kaysa cheque pa yung ibayad mo, kasi minor expenses lang naman yun, magbayad ka na lang out of the petty cash fund. Okay? For practicality purposes. So again, petty cash fund, it's the fund or cash set aside for small or minor disbursements. Okay, doon naman tayo sa cash in bank. In the board exam, dalawa yung usually tinatanong dyan. Number one is bank reconciliation or bank recon. And number two is proof of cash. Okay, so for bank recon, ang important dito class is alam natin yung format ng kung paano i-prepare yung bank reconciliation. So just a review sa FAR, meron tayong book and meron tayong bank. Under book, mag-start tayo with cash balance per books. Yan yung nasa ledger or yung nasa records ng company. Okay? Plus natin yung credit memos, minus debit memos, plus minus errors, you get the adjusted cash balance. Okay? So alam nyo na yan sa FAR, ha? Alam tayo, quick review lang. Cash balance per books, plus credit memos, minus debit memos, plus minus error. Sir, bakit plus minus yung errors? Kasi depende sa nature ng error. Pwede siyang plus or pwedeng minus yung adjustment. And you get the adjusted cash balance. Yung adjusted cash balance, iyan yung cash in bank na ipe-present mo sa balance sheet. Okay? So, ganun siya. Doon naman tayo sa format. Kapag bank naman, start tayo with cash balance per bank statement. Okay? Kung ano yung cash, yung balance dun sa bank statement na pinoprovide sa atin ng bangko, plus natin yung deposit in transit, minus outstanding checks, plus minus errors, again, depende kung ano nature of the error, and you get the adjusted cash balance. Okay, so dapat equal yung dalawa na yan. Alright? So, ayan. Again, kung ano yung balance na yan, yun yung ipe-present natin na cash in bank in the balance sheet. Now, it's also important, class, to remember na yung book reconciling items, ito lang yung kailangan ng journal entries. I-adjust natin yan sa books natin. Okay? Yung bank reconciling items, huwag kang mag-journalize dyan, ha? Kasi sa side ni bank yan. Okay? Si bank yung bahala mag-adjust ng mga yan sa libro niya. Okay? Sa side natin, dun lang sa book reconciling items. Okay? Sige. Sir, ano naman yung proof of cash? Well, yung proof of cash, okay? Class, ito, hindi yan lumalabas talaga sa board exam. Never ko pang narinig na lumabas yan sa board exam. Pero syempre, aralin pa rin natin. Proof of cash, ito yung 2-month bank recon or also called 4-column bank reconciliation. Okay, so 2 months yan and then 4 columns. Sir, bakit 2 months and 4 columns? So, ganito yan. For example, yung 2 months natin is November and December. So, meron tayong November, meron tayong December. Okay? So, gagawa tayo ng bank recon para sa November, gagawa tayo ng bank recon para sa December. Kaya siya 2-month bank recon. Sir, bakit 4 columns? Because meron ka diyang receipts and meron kang disbursements. DISB na lang. Okay. So, November, receipts, disbursements, and December. Okay? Ano yung receipts? Lahat ng na-collect natin for the month of December. Okay? Ang pinag-uusapan dito, December. Okay? Disbursements naman, lahat ng binayad natin from December 1 to December 31. Okay? So, tandaan nyo lang, pag proof of cash, 4 columns yan. Ang difference yan, meron kang receipts and meron kang disbursement. So, later, i-apply natin yan sa handouts natin. Okay? Sige. Now, doon naman tayo sa cash equivalent. Sir, ano yung dapat namin matandaan sa cash equivalents? Yung definition muna. Cash equivalents are short-term highly liquid investments that are readily convertible into cash. Diba? Ito yung definition ng cash equivalents. So, short term, highly liquid and readily convertible into cash. Yun yung definition niya. Now, ang maganda example nito, debt instruments. Okay, sulat mo ito. Debt instruments acquired 3 months before maturity. Okay, within 3 months before maturity. So, yung key dito is the 3 months. Okay, dalawa actually. Yung debt instruments, so dapat debt siya ha, hindi pwedeng equity. So, debt instruments acquired within 3 months before maturity. Sir, pwede mo ba kayong bigyan example? For example, class, bumili tayo ng bonds. Okay, bonds. Bonds is a debt instrument kasi nagbabayad yun ng interest. Okay? Now, for example, class, ito January 1, 2024, January 1, 2025, December 31, 2025. For example, dito mo binili yung bonds. Dito ka nag-invest. Okay? Ito yung maturity niya. Ito yung maturity. So, 2 years before maturity. Paano yung classification ng bonds? Well, investment siya in the books. Okay? Non-current assets. So, investment in bonds, non-current assets. Pag dito mo siya binili. Okay? Ngayon, pag dito mo naman siya binili, 1 year before maturity, investments pa rin yan. Pero current assets naman. Okay, gets? Sir, kailan siya magiging cash equivalents? Pag yung debt instruments, ayos natin yung sulat ko. Debt instruments, pag binili mo siya within 3 months. Ano ba yung 3 months before December 31? October 1. Okay, so let's say binili mo siya dito, October 1. So October, November, December. Pag binili mo dito yan, ang classification mo na is cash equivalents. Okay, so again, dito, non-current assets yan. Pag dito mo binili, current assets. Pag dito mo binili, 3 months before maturity, cash equivalents. So ito yung concern natin. Alright? So yan, yung mga kailangan mo tandaan about audit of cash. Sir, may mga techniques ka ba yan? Of course. Dito tayo. Focus ka dito, class, ha? Techniques. Depende sa tanong. Again, pag audit of cash, 3 lang naman yan. Petty cash fund, bank recon, and proof of cash. Proof of cash, again, very rare na itanong yan. Okay? Very rare. Pag petty cash fund, ang kailangan mo i-apply dito, class, is the accountability versus accounted for. Accountability versus accounted for. Ano difference yan, sir? Mamaya i-apply natin yan, ha? Pag sinabi mo accountability, ito yung lahat ng cash or funds under the custody of the petty cash custodian. Okay? Sir, sino si petty cash custodian? O siya yung in charge dun sa petty cash fund. Okay? Ang tawag din sa kanya, petty cash cashier. Okay? Petty cash custodian is also called petty cash cashier. So, lahat ng in-entrust sa kanya, lahat ng nasa custody ni petty cash custodian, accountability yan. Okay? Pag sinabi mo accounted for, where did the cash or funds go? Where did the cash or funds go? Saan napunta yung accountability? Yun yung accounted for. Siyempre, dapat balance yan. Balance dapat lagi yung accountability and accounted for. Pag hindi yan balance, meron kang shortage or overage. So, again, i-apply natin yan later sa handouts natin. Pag bank recon naman, apply mo lang yung bank recon format. Okay, bank recon format. Ano ulit yung bank recon format natin? Dalawa. Ito, yung book and bank. Pag may time ka sa board exam, gawin mo pareho yung book and bank na reconciliation. Pag wala kang time, ang suggestion ko, bank na lang. Kasi mas madali actually compute yung adjusted cash balance per bank. Kasi lagi lang yung deposit in transit and outstanding checks. Okay? Usually, pag may errors, so yun lang. Pero madali lang kasi kapag DIT and outstanding checks. Pag may time ka, isolve mo pareho yan. Siyempre, dapat equal yan. Pag wala ka ng time, dun ka na sa bank. Okay? Pag proof of cash naman, well, i-apply mo lang yung 4-column na format natin, which we will answer later sa handouts natin. Okay? So, ito yung mga kailangan natin tandaan. Let's go to problem number 1. Problem number 1 is about petty cash fund. I-apply natin yung accountability versus accounted for. Okay, so, tignan mo natin yung questions. Question 1, the cash overage or shortage on the petty cash fund is, And number 2, what is the adjusted petty cash fund balance on December 31? Let's read the problem. As the representative of your audit firm, you were assigned to verify the petty cash on hand of Pinnacle Company in the morning of January 4, 2026. Very important yung date na yan at yung time. So, underline mo na yung January 4, 2026. You began to count at 9 a.m. Okay? 9 a.m. ng January 4, dun nagkaroon ng petty cash count. In the presence of the company's cashier. Yung company's cashier, siya din yung petty cash custodian or the petty cash cashier. While counting, you found currencies in paper bills and coins together with checks, vouchers, and other items which are listed below. Ganito yung class ha. For example, ako si petty cash custodian. Okay? So ako yung may custody sa petty cash fund. Ito yung cashier. For example, itong table na to. Isipin mo yun yung cashier. Okay? So si auditor, nung nag-count siya, chinek niya yung laman ng cashier, kung ano yung mga nandyan. Ito daw yung mga nakita niya. Alright? So nakita niya yung bills, okay, 100 pesos, 50, 20, nakakita siya ng coins, nakakita siya ng checks, IOUs. Ano yung IOUs? Yun yung advances to employees. Okay? Advances to employees. So yun, siguro document yan na pinirmahan ng employee na, oy, nag-cash advance ako. Okay? Ganun siya. Petty cash vouchers, yun yung mga expenses, no? So, yung mga minor expenses. So, yun nga, yung example ko kayo, na office supplies, nagpa-deliver ka ng food, ito yung mga receipts, okay? Yun yung mga vouchers. Okay, and then, your investigation also disclosed the following. The balance of petty cash fund per books is 18,000. Nung nag-establish ang petty cash fund, 18,000 yung start, okay? Yung starting fund, 18,000. And letter B, cash sales of January 2, 2026 amounted to 17,300 per sales records, while cash receipts book and deposit slips show that only 15,300 was deposited in the bank on January 3. Sir, relevant ba yan? Kasi January 2 na yan, saka January 3. Relevant yan. Kasi yung count nangyari noong January 4. Okay, relevant yan. Hindi December 31 pinag-uusapan natin. Ang pinag-uusapan natin, January 4. The following pay envelopes of employees had been opened and the money removed. Each envelope was marked unclaimed. Okay, add nga natin yan, 665 plus 495. So, lagay mo dyan, 1,160. Ano nangyari dyan, sir? So, ganito yan, ha? May reenactment tayo. So, for example, ako si auditor. Punta ako dito. Ito yung cashier. Nakakita ako ng envelope. Uy, may envelope. Nakalagay dyan. Yung envelope, basically, envelope lang, nakalagay 1,160. Pero walang laman. Walang pera sa loob, basically. Okay, so ganyan yung nakita ni auditor. Babalikan natin later. Ayan, so ayan nangyari. And then meron tayong 2 questions. Sir, paano namin sasagutan yung problem niya? Parang nakakalito. Kaya ako merong techniques. Okay, so accountability versus accounted for. So apply natin yan. Dito tayo sa accountability. And then, ito yung accounted for. Accounted for. Ulitin ko, ano yung accountability? Lahat ng in-entrust kay petty cash custodian. Lahat na nasa custody niya. Ano yung accounted for? Basically, saan napunta yung accountability? Yung laman ng cashier. Okay, so ganun yung accounted for. Tignan natin. Plus yung bills and coins, saan mo ilalagay yan? Accountability, accounted for. Siyempre, accounted for. Nasa laman niya ng cashier eh. Okay, so kuha niyan. So, ganun siya. So, gawin natin. Add natin ha. So, doon mo tayo sa bills. Actually, dito natin computein yan. So, bills, how much yan? 100 times 25. 100 25. Okay. So, 25 plus 50 times 130. Okay, 65. And then plus 20 times 142. 2,840. Sige nga class, add natin lahat ng bills. 2,500 plus 65 plus 2,840. You should get 11,840. Oh, doon naman tayo sa coins. Tingnan natin kung paano yung coins na yan. Doon tayo sa 10 peso. Sabi dyan class, 1 roll and 10 loose. 20 pieces to a roll. I think yung roll, ibig sabihin yung mga naka-tape. Okay, let's say for 10 pesos na naka-tape siya. Okay? So, yun yung roll. Nakalagay dyan, 20 pieces to a roll. So, kailangan natin malaman ilang pieces. Okay? And then, multiply natin sa 10 pesos. Yan ang gagawin ko. So, gagawin ko dyan, 10 pesos and then, ilang roll? Isa. So, ganito gagawin ko dyan, ha? Isang roll. Sa isang roll, 20 pieces daw. Edi 1 times 20. Okay? Plus ko yung loose. Ano yung loose? Well, basically, yun yung pieces. Okay? Yun yung hindi naka-tape. Parang ganun. So, plus ko yan sa 10. Ayan. So, ito yung pieces. Okay? Ilang 10 pesos ang nakita ni auditor doon. Ayun. Ito. O, sige, gawin natin dyan. 1 times 20, 20 yun. Plus 10, 30. 30 times 10, that's 300. Okay? So, gets nyo yun, ha? Doon naman tayo sa 5 pesos. Compute natin ilang pieces yan, ilang pirasong 5 pesos. Well, may 4 rolls dyan. 4, and then 50 pieces daw per roll. Adi yan. 4 times 50 times 5, you get 1,000. 1,000. And then, dun tayo sa 1 peso. 2 rolls and 29 loose. Ano ulit yung loose? Well, pieces. 29 pieces. Kailangan natin malaman ilan lahat ng pieces na 1 peso. Sabi niya may 2 rolls daw. Ilang pieces to a roll? Oh, edi 50. Plus ko yung 29. O, ayan. 2 times 50, that is 100, plus 2 times 50, plus, okay. And then, plus ko yung 29, okay, you get 129. Nakuha niyo yan? 129? So, ayan, sige. 300 plus 1,000 plus 129, 1,429. Add natin class yung bills and coins. Ito, add mo yan. 11,840 plus 1,429. Total natin is 13,269. Okay. 13,269. Saan mo ilalagay yan? Lalagay ko dito yung class. Bills and coins. 13,269. Okay. Ang challenging lang, hindi naman to actually mahirap. Ang challenging lang sa petty cash fund, saan mo siya ilalagay? Accountability or accounted for? Tandaan mo lang. Pag nakita mo dyan sa cashier, most likely dun yun sa accounted for. Okay? Kasi ang accounted for, saan napunta yung funds? Or saan napunta yung cash natin? Yun yung accounted for. Saan siya napunta? Well, yung iba dun, naging bills and coins. Okay, ganun siya. Next, checks. Okay, meron tayong 1,200 and then meron tayong 800. Okay, yung checks na yan, nakita rin ni auditor sa cashier yan. Ang treatment dyan, parang bills and coins. So, lagay mo dyan, checks. Accounted for. Alam natin na dito siya napunta. 2,000. Alright, yun lang siya. Kung ano yung checks na yan, kung ano yung treatment mo sa bills and coins, yun lang din yan. Next, IOUs. So basically, meron tayong petty cash fund. Punta muna tayo dun class sa baba. The balance of petty cash fund per books is 18,000. So lagay natin dito yan. Yung petty cash fund, laging nandito sa accountability yan. Kasi aalamin natin saan napunta yung 18,000. Okay? So, yung petty cash fund is always under accountability. Saan napunta yung 18,000 na yan? Well, yung iba, naging bills and coins. Alright? Yung iba naman, in advance natin dun sa employees, IOUs. So, dito siya. Pag IOUs, sigurado yan, accounted for yan. How much? Add natin, 700 plus 500 plus 300, you get 1,500. Ano pa? Petty cash vouchers. So, tingnan natin. Messenger, carpenter, ayan, advances to employees, repair, supplies, freight in, ayan, sa JNT, sa Shopee, sa Lazada, etc. So, iyan yung basically, yan yung mga pinaggastosan natin from the petty cash fund. Okay? So, how much yung total niyan? 200 plus 900 plus 290 plus 365 plus 600 plus 308, 2663. Okay yung total niyan. 2663. Oh, huwag kayo malito. Ganito lang ang ginagawa ko. Sir, paano na yung malaman kung part ng accounted for? Napunta ba dyan yung petty cash fund? Yes. Yung petty cash fund, yung iba pinang-advance mo sa employees. Yung iba dyan, pinanggasos mo. Okay? Yung iba dyan, naging bills and coins. Okay? Yung checks, same yung treatment niyan sa bills and coins. Gets? Okay. Next. Doon tayo sa B. Cash sales of January 2, 2026 amounted to 17.3 per sales records, while the cash receipts per book and deposit slips show that only 15.3 was deposited. Technically, yung B na yan, hindi yan part ng cash, ng petty cash fund. Tama? Kasi cash sales yan eh. Nagkataon lang, siguro, yung customer, nagbayad, ang nag-receive si petty cash custodian. Pwedeng gawin nangyari dyan. Pero nasa custody yan, petty cash custodian. So, kailangan alamin natin saan napunta yan. Ngayon, yung cash sales na yung class, saan mo ilalagay yan? Accountability or accounted for? Accountability. Okay, so lalagay ko dito, cash sales, accountability na 17.3. Because aalamin natin saan napunta yung 17,300 na yan. Gets? Okay. So, napunta. Well, yung dineposit natin, okay, yung dineposit natin na 15,300. Hindi lahat yan na-deposit. Ang na-deposit lang, 15,300. Okay, so ulitin ko. Pag sinabing accounted for, saan napunta? Well, yung iba dyan, dineposit natin. Gets? Okay. Next. C. Ito na yung pay envelope. So, ulitin ko. Anong nangyari dyan? Si auditor nakakita ng envelope. Uy, 1,160. Pero chinek ni auditor yung loob. Wala naman laman na 1,160. So, paano gagawin natin dyan? Yung unclaimed envelopes na yan, ilagay mo sa accountability. Okay, 1,160. Ilalagay mo ba yan sa accounted for? Well, hindi natin alam saan napunta yan. So, wala siya dyan. Hindi mo alam saan napunta eh. Hindi natin na-account yan. Okay? Possible na na-mix na yan kung saan-saan. Gets? Okay, so, tignan natin class. Add natin yung accountability natin and accounted for. 18,000 plus 17,300 plus 1,160, you get 36,460. Alamin natin saan napunta yung 36,460. Well, ito, dito napunta lahat yan. Add natin 13,269 plus 2,000 plus 1,500 plus 2,663 plus 15,300, you get 34,732. Uy, hindi balance eh. 36,460 minus 34,732. Difference is 1,728. Ito talaga yung nasa custody ni petty cash custodian, in-account natin, inalam natin saan napunta. Ito lang yung nalaman natin kung saan napunta. Difference nila, 1,728, it means meron tayong shortage. Mas malaki kasi si accountability than accounted for. That's why letter A, sagot natin, 1,728. Letter A. Gets? Next, what is the adjusted petty cash fund balance? Ganito gagawin ko dyan, class. Yung petty cash fund natin, ganito yung balance niya. Initially, meron tayong 18,000. Tama? Yan yung sinet na, yun yung starting fund natin, 18,000. Now, yung iba dyan, well, yung iba in advance natin sa employees, 1,500. Yung iba dyan, pinambayadan natin ng mga expenses, mga minor expenses natin, mga vouchers, 2,663. And then, meron tayong shortage na 1,728. Take note, ang pinag-uusapan natin dito is the petty cash fund. Hindi natin pinag-uusapan yung mga cash sales na mga ganyan. Yung fund lang talaga. Okay? Now, ang magiging adjusted petty cash fund mo, 18,000 minus 1,500 minus 2,663 minus yung shortage ng 1,728. Answer mo dyan, class, is 12,109. Letter boy. Okay? Or alternatively, ito pa yung isang computation dyan para mas madalian ka. Petty cash fund, okay? So, ano yung cash pa na natitira sa petty cash fund natin? Well, ito, sigurado, bills and coins, natitira pa yan. Lagay ko dito, bills and coins na 13,269. Okay? Ganito gagawin ko dyan. Meron tayong unclaimed na yung nasa envelopes. Okay? Nandun sa letter C. Yung envelope na walang laman, okay, unclaimed. Now, anong nangyari doon, class? Opened na daw. Nakalagay, opened and the money removed. So, na-open yung envelope, walang laman, nahalo siya dun sa cashier natin. Nahalo siya dun sa bills and coins. Okay? Ang inaalam natin, how much yung petty cash fund lang natin talaga. Yung unclaimed ba na yun, petty cash fund ba? Hindi petty cash fund yun. Sa mga employees yun. Kaya ang gagawin ko dito, since nahalo dito yung 1,160, ima-minus ko yung 1,160 dyan. 13,269 minus 1,160, 12,109. Which is also equal to this one. Okay? So pag sinabi, how much yung adjusted petty cash fund, basically, how much yung bills and coins ng petty cash fund. Ito yun, dapat. Kaya lang, problema, may nahalo dyan na unclaimed eh. O di ito na lang yung bills and coins talaga na related to petty cash fund. Okay, so yan. Answer natin dyan is letter boy, 12,109. So ulitin ko lang, mga nalilito dyan. Again, rare lang lumalabas sa board exam. Pero just in case, no, ang guide nyo dito, pag accountability, ano na naman technique dito is, alamin mo kung part siya ng accountability or accounted for. Pag accountability, lahat ng in-entrust kay petty cash custodian, ano yung in-entrust sa kanya? Well, for sure yung petty cash fund. Okay, siya may custody dyan. Cash sales, kasi si customer sa'yo nagbayad eh. Okay, nagkataon, si petty cash custodian yung nag-receive ng bayad. Unclaimed. Okay, nakita sa iyo yung envelope eh. O, sa iyo yun. Accountability mo yun. Accounted for, saan napunta? Yung iba dyan, bills and coins. Yung iba dyan, checks. Yung iba dyan, in-advance mo sa employees. Yung iba dyan, ginastos mo for minor expenses. Yung iba, dineposit mo. Ito yun. Yung 17.3, yung iba dyan, dineposit mo. Total mo yung accountability, tignan mo, compare mo saan siya napunta, mas mataas itong accountability, therefore may shortage tayo. Hindi natin alam kung nasaan yung 1728. Okay? So, yun yung sagot mo, shortage ng 1728. How much yung petty cash fund balance? Tanda mo pag ganun, how much lang yung related talaga sa petty cash fund? How much yung bills and coins na nasa petty cash fund? Kaya mas madali intindihin ito kaysa dito sa T account natin. Pero using T account, start ka with 18,000, the initial fund natin. Yung 1,500, in advance mo sa employees yan. Yung 2,663, binayad mo sa minor expenses. 1,728, unaccounted, shortage. Therefore, balance mo is 12,109. Or alternatively, meron kang bills and coins. Ang problema dyan, hindi yan pwedeng isagot mo. Kasi may nahalo dyan. Kung walang nahalo, ito yung sagot. Okay? Kaya lang may nahalo dyan na hindi naman talaga part ng fund. Okay? Minus mo yun, you get 12,109. Okay? So that's how you do petty cash fund. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 natin class, problem 2. Erase ko na ha. So make sure na-copy mo to. Problem number 2 is a combination. So bank recon siya and then may konting petty cash fund. Alright? So erase ko para may space tayo. So ayan. And ito. Okay, so let's read problem number 2. Tuta mo tayo sa questions. Oy, what is the adjusted cash in bank? What is the compound journal entry? What is the adjusted petty cash fund? And so on and so forth. Let's read. In connection with your audit of Mr. Accounting Inc. for the year ended December 31, 2025, you gathered the following information. Cash in bank, the company's trial balance include the following accounts. Cash in bank BPI, 748320. Cash in bank BDO, restricted account for plant expansion, expected to be disbursed in 2026. Okay, ano yung classification niyang class? Sa FAR. Kapag restricted yan, hindi yan pwedeng maging part of your cash in cash equivalents. Kasi ang isang requirement to be cash is unrestricted. Ibig sabihin, pwede mo siyang gamitin anytime. Iyan, restricted yan. Kasi for plant expansion. Even if expected siyang gamitin next year, hindi mo gumatter yun. Okay, ang presentation nito is other current assets. Lagay mo dyan, other current assets. Hindi siya part ng cash and cash equivalents. Kasi restricted siya. To be part, again, of cash and cash equivalents, dapat unrestricted. Petty cash fund, o lagay mo dyan, cash on hand. Tama, cash on hand yung petty cash fund. Time deposit placed December 20, 2025 and due March 20, 2026. December, January, February, March. Uy, 3 months. Tapos time deposit, which is a debt instrument. Uy, debt instrument na acquired within 3 months before maturity, cash equivalent yung time deposit na yan. So, sulat mo sa gilid, cash equivalent. Money market placement, this is also a debt instrument, no? Placed December 28 and due April 28. December, January, February, March, April. 4 months. Uy, sumobra. Ano yung presentation mo? Current assets. Investments yan na current assets. So, hindi siya part of your cash in cash equivalents. B, the company maintains its current account with BPI. Okay, the bank statement on December 31 shows a balance of 638,340. Your audit of the company's account with BPI revealed the following. Ito yung mga reconciling items. So pag bank recon, ano gagawin mo? O, apply mo agad to. Bank recon format natin, books and bank. Okay, so lalagay ko yan. Problem number 2, lagay ko dito book. And here, lagay ko dito bank. Alright, so ang binigay sa atin, the bank statement showed a balance of 638,340. Balance per bank statement. Dito yan. Balance per bank statement, lagay ko na lang per bank, is 638,340. Okay, next. Number 1. A check for 22,500 received from a customer whose account is current had been deposited and then returned by the bank. On December 28, no entry was made for the return of this check. The customer replaced the check on January 15. Okay, dun muna tayo sa cash balance per books. So this one, ito yung nasa records ng company natin. Ano yung nasa records? Andun sa trial balance. Nakalagay dyan, cash in bank BPI, 748,320. 748,320. Okay, balik ka dun sa adjustment number 1. Yung binalik ng bangko na yan, bakit ba nagbabalik si bangko? Because NSF check yan. Not sufficient funds or no sufficient funds. Okay? So pag NSF, ano yan? Deduction yan. Okay? Parang debit memo siya. So lagay ko dito, NSF minus 22,500. Alright? Number 2, a check for 5,720 was cleared by the bank as 7,520. The bank made the correction on January 2, 2026. Bank error. Sulat mo, bank error. How much? 7,520 minus 5,720. 1,800. Oh, error. Dito yan. Error ni bank. Ang ginawa niya, cheque, tama? 5,720 lang in-issue mo na check, pero ang clear niya, 7,520. Sobra-sobra yung minus niya sa bank account mo. O, di plus 1,800 tayo. Plus 1,800. Okay. Number 3, a check for 3,500 representing payment of an employee advance was received and deposited on December 27 but was not recorded until January 3. Nagbayad ka sa empleyado or nagbigay ka ng advance pero hindi mo naman ni-record sa books mo. So, lagay natin dyan, dito yan. Hindi mo na-record sa books eh. So, unrecorded, since nagbigay ka sa mga employees mo ng advance, minus sa'yo yun. Minus 3,500. Okay. Ano pala? Ano ba nangyari? Hindi pala. Si employee pala yung nagbayad sa'yo. Okay? So, basahin ulit natin. A check for 3,500 representing payment of an employee advance was received. Okay? So, hindi pala ikaw yung nagbigay ng check kay employee. Siya yung nagbigay sa'yo. So, anong nangyari? Dineposit pero hindi mo ni-record. So, dapat i-record mo yan. Okay? So, add tayo ng 3,500. Next, 4. Various debit memos for drafts purchased for payment of importation of equipment totaling 230,000 were not recorded. These purchases were previously set up as accounts payable. So, accounts payable. Said equipment arrived in December. Mga debit memos, mga deductions yan ni bank. So, kailangan natin i-reflect sa books natin yan. Okay? So, number 4, debit memos minus 230,000. Number 5, interest earned on the bank balance for the fourth quarter amounting to 1,950 was not recorded. Ano yung mga interest na yan? Credit memos naman yan. Tama? So, number 5, lagay ko dito, credit memos plus 1,950. Okay. Bank service charge totaling 1,260 were not recorded. O, book reconciling item ulit yan. Number 6, bank service charges minus 1,260. Next, deposit in transit and outstanding checks as of December 31 totaled 136,250 and 276,380. Post-dated checks totaling 67,300 were included in the deposit in transit. Pag post-dated check, receivable pa yun. Tama ba? Sa FAR, post-dated check, receivable, hindi pa yun cash. Okay? So, gagawin ko dito, deposit in transit, add kasi yung deposit in transit. Tama? Nakalagay dyan, 136,250. Kaya lang may kasama daw post-dated checks, tanggalin mo yun kasi hindi pa yun cash talaga. 136,250 minus 67,300, you get 68,950. Okay? Plus 68,950. And then, outstanding checks natin, you have how much? 276,380. Okay, so yung post-dated check natin na yung class, adjustment din yan. Tama? So sa number 7, yung post-dated check, anong nangyari dyan kasi? Sabi, post-dated checks totaling 67,300 were included in the deposit in transit. Dineposito mo na yan dun sa bank. Okay? Kaya lang, post-dated yan. So hindi pa yan considered as cash. Receivable pa lang yan. Okay? So sa books mo, ni-record mo na sa as cash, dapat hindi pa. Okay, kaya mag-minus tayo ng 67,300. Okay, tingnan natin class yung adjusted cash balance. For books, 748,320 minus 22,500 plus 3,500 minus 230,000 plus 1,950 minus 1,260 minus 67,300, you get 432,710. Okay, for bank naman, 638,340 plus 1,800 plus 68,950 minus 276,380, you get 432,710. O yan, yan yung adjusted balance natin. Equal sila, dapat equal lagi yan. Sagot natin dyan class, sa question number 3, what is the adjusted cash in bank 432,710, that is boy. Okay? So sabi ko kanina, pag may time ka sa board exam, compute mo pareho, yung book and bank, para sure ka sa sagot mo. Kasi dapat balance yan eh. Pag wala ka ng time, bank na lang. Bakit sir? O, tingnan mo yung bank. 3 lang yung adjustments mo. Compared dito sa books, ang dami mong adjustments. Okay? So, less complicated talaga yan. So, pag wala kang time, bank na lang. And then, makuha mo yan. O, yun. Yun yung final answer mo dyan. Okay? Number 4, the compound journal entry to adjust the cash in bank. Okay, at year end should include a debit to. Sabi ko kanina, ang journal entryhan mo lang yung book reconciling items. Ito lang. Ayan. Lahat ng bank reconciling items, ignore mo yan. Si bank bahala mag-adjust niyan. Okay, so ito yung journalize natin. Sige, isa-isay natin. Okay, so mag-entry tayo. Yung adjustment natin is this one. Okay, so yung NSF, receivable yan eh. AR yan eh. Okay, AR. Yung post-dated check is also AR. Pagsamahin na lang natin sa isang entry yan. Okay, yung post-dated check is AR, NSF check is also an AR. So 22,500 plus mo yung 67,300, 89,800. Debit AR, 89,800. Sa isa natin class ha. Ito naman tayo. So, unrecorded yung 3.5. Ano yung 3.5 na yan? Basahin natin class. Item number 3. A check for 3.5 representing payment of an employee advance. Binayaran tayo ng empleyado. So, entry mo doon, debit cash, credit advances to employees. So, mag-credit tayo. Credit advances to employees, 3,500. Okay. So, okay na tayo dyan. So, NSF, okay na yan. Okay na to. Dito naman tayo sa debit memos na 230,000. Item number 4, various debit memos, purchase for payment of importation totaling 230,000 were not recorded. These purchases were previously set up as accounts payable. Adi, debit mo na yung accounts payable. Debit accounts payable, 230,000. Hindi okay na yan. Next, item number 5, interest earned, 1,950. Yun yung interest na earn mo sa bangko. Okay? So, interest income yan. Credit interest income, 1,950. So, okay na to. Next, bank service charges na 1,260. Actually, expenses yan. No? Debit bank service charges, expense, 1,260. 1,260. Okay. O, di ayan. Tapos na. Tingnan natin kung ano yung balancing figure natin. Yung debit muna, 89,800 plus 230,000 plus 1,260 minus 3,500 minus 1,950. Sagot mo dyan, class, yung balancing figure natin, cash in bank, 315,610. 315,610. Ayan, yan yung journal entry natin. 315,610, dapat ito rin yung difference between 432,710 and 748,320. Sige nga, 748,320 minus 432,710, 315,610. Okay, difference between unadjusted and adjusted, ayun. 315,610. Okay, so tingnan natin yung question. The compound journal entry to adjust the cash in bank should include a debit to. Letter A, interest expense. Hindi, walang interest expense dyan. AR, 86,300. Oo, 89,800. Sa mali. Letter C, AR for 89,800. Ayun. Sagot natin dyan. Letter C, accounts receivable, 89,800. Letter D, accounts payable, 228. Mali. Accounts payable natin, debit dapat na 230,000. Letter C for the compound journal entry. Okay, so ayan na siya. Let's go to number 5. What is the adjusted petty cash fund balance? Actually, may minention na petty cash fund dyan, dun sa item audit note C. Basahin natin. Audit note C. Various expenses from the petty cash fund dated December 25 totaled 16,250, while those dated January 2026, 5,903. Another disbursement from the fund dated December 2025 was a cash advance to an employee, 35. Replenishment was made on January 8. Okay, so ang daming dates na binigay, but basically, ang tinatanong sa atin, as of December 31. So, ganito lang gagawin ko dyan. Parang ginawa natin sa previous problem. Petty cash fund, tingin ka dun sa, ano yung beginning balance siya, tingin ka dun sa letter A, yung sa trial balance, nakalagay dyan, petty cash fund, 30,000. So, lagay mo dito yan, 30,000. Ano yung babawas dyan? Lahat ng expenses, lahat ng pinuntahan ng petty cash fund. Basahin ulit natin. Various expenses from the petty cash fund total for December, 16,250. O, minus yan. 16,250. While those dated January 2026 amounted to 5,903. I-disregard mo yun. Kasi January pa yun eh. Ang tinatanong sa atin, December 31. So, panlito lang yung 5,903 na yan. Ignore mo yan. Another disbursement from the fund dated December 2025 was cash advance or yun yung IOUs. Okay? How much? 3,500. 3,500. Yung replenishment, nangyari pa yan ng January 28. Ano ibig sabihin ng replenishment? Ibig sabihin, gagawing 30,000 ulit yung balance ng petty cash fund. Pero next year pa yon. So, i-disregard mo lang yan. So, yun yung magiging sagot natin. 30,000 minus 16,250 minus 3,500, you get 10,250. 10,250, this is the balance of your petty cash fund. And yung 10,250 na yan, malamang, bills and coins yan. Okay, 10,250. Letter boy for question 5. What is a petty cash fund balance? 10,250. Number 6. What is the net effect on the company's net income of all the adjustments on various cash account? So, ano yung mga may effect sa net income dyan? Well, tingnan muna natin to. AR, wala namang effect sa net income yan. AP, wala. Bank service charges, yes, kasi expense yan eh. Advances to employees, hindi. Interest income, ayan, may effect yan sa net income natin. Dito naman, yung 16,250 expenses yan. Oh, may effect din sa net income yan. Yung 3,500 advances to employees yan. Walang effect sa net income. So, tatlo lang. Bank service charge, interest income, and yung petty cash fund expenses natin. So, isa-isa natin. Petty cash fund expenses na 16,250, okay, minus 16,250. And then, bank service charges, minus din yan. Expenses yan. How much? 1,260. Interest income, well, plus naman yan. Income yan. Plus 1,950. Net effect to P&L, let's compute. 16,250 plus 1,260 minus 1,950. Answer mo dyan, class, 15,560. 15,560. Letter dog. 15,560. Okay, last question for this problem. What is the total amount of cash and cash equivalents? Oh, tingnan natin. Cash and cash equivalents. To be shown in the statement of financial position. Oh, start muna tayo dun sa cash in bank natin. Cash in bank, kay BPI, okay? Cash in bank BPI, na-compute na natin kanina yan. Ito, 432,710. Okay, walang problema. 432,710. Petty cash fund, na-compute na rin natin. Nasaan? 10,250. Okay, balik tayo dun sa trial balance, dun sa audit note A. Isa-isay natin ha. The company's trial balance as of December 31 include the following accounts. Cash in bank BPI, meron na tayo, 432,710. Cash in bank BDO, sabi ko kanina, restricted, so other current assets. Wala yan sa cash and cash equivalents. Petty cash fund, meron na rin, 10,250. Time deposit, ano yung classification niya? Acquired 3 months before, so cash equivalent yan. Dahil dito, TD or time deposit, 5 million. Yung isa naman, yung money market placement 4 months, so hindi yan magka-qualify as cash equivalents. So add natin, 5 million plus 10,250. Plus 432,710. Answer mo dyan, class, 5,442,960. 5,442,960. Final answer, letter boy, 5,442,960. Okay. Let's have a short break. After that, magsagot naman tayo ng proof of cash. Class, let's continue answering our handouts. Problems 3 and 4 are about proof of cash. Class, take note, yung proof of cash, usually hindi lumalabas yan in the board exam. Okay? Never ko pa narinig na lumabas yan sa board exam. So, kaya huwag yung masyadong dibdibin yung topic na to, ha? So, mag-rely na lang kayo sa handouts natin. Okay? Sige. Now, sir, ano ulit yung proof of cash? Basically, 2-month bank recon. So, illustration natin, November and December, gagawa ka ng bank reconciliation. Kaya lang, 4 columns yan. Kasi meron tayong column for receipts or lahat ng na-receive natin during the period and disbursements or lahat ng binayad natin during the period. Okay, so apply natin yan. Let's go to problem number 3. ABC Company provided the following data for the month of December. Okay. Cash in, so meron tayong November and December. Meron tayong cash in bank balance, bank statement balance, etc. O sir, paano gagawin namin dyan? Well, apply mo lang yung 4 column. Ito gagawin ko dyan, class. So meron tayong, so for problem 3, meron tayong November. Okay, lagay mo receipts. receipts, disbursements, and then December. Okay? And then, ito yung sa book. Alright? Gawin mo din yan sa bank. Bank. Ayan. So, meron tayong November, receipts, disbursements, and December. Okay, so 4 columns, 1 for book and 1 for bank. Okay, so paano gagawin natin, sir? Doon tayo sa first item, nakalagay, cash in bank account balances. Yung second item, bank statement balance. So yung cash in bank account balances, yun yung unadjusted balance per books. So, dito tayo. Okay, so lagay ko dito per books. Nakalagay dyan, class, how much? Sa November, 2,032,000. Sa December naman, 3,160,000. Okay? So, sabay natin gagawin yung bank recon na November and December. Doon naman sa bank statement balance, lagyan natin dito, adjusted balance per bank, 1,890,000. And then, meron tayong 2.9 million for December. Okay, next. Bank debits, and then merong bank credits. Merong book debits and may book credits. Just a quick review so far. Pag sinabi, doon muna tayo sa book. Ha? Pag sinabi mong book debits, well, alam natin sa accounting, pag nagde-debit ka ng cash, increase yun. Pag nag-book credits ka, decrease naman yun. So, paano gagawin mo dyan? Yung book debits na, well, question mark nakalagay, yung book credits na 1,440,000, nag-credit ka ng cash, bawas yun. Disbursements yun. Tama? 1,440,000. Alright? Now, opposite naman sa bangko. Yung pag sinabing bank debits, dinedebit niya yung account mo, binabawasan niya yung account mo. Okay? Pag sinabi namang bank credits, ini-increase naman niya yung account mo. Alright? So, opposite yan. Okay? Pag bank debits, again, decrease. Pag bank credits, increase. Right? So, sige. So, ang given sa atin, bank debits, 1,080,000. So, dito tayo sa bank. Okay, dinebit ni bank. Binawasan niya yan. Alright? Now, ang tanong sa ating class, question number 8, how much is the unadjusted receipts per book? Actually, tinatanong to. Okay, yun yung 8. 9 naman, how much is the unadjusted receipts per bank? Ito. O, sagutin natin yan. Kasi, usually, ganito lang yan. November plus receipts minus disbursements equal to your December balance. So, ganun lang siya. Ang gagawin ko dito, T-account ako. So, hinahanap to, di ba? O, di mag-T-account tayo. So, lalagay ko dito, class, yung cash. Beginning natin, 2,032,000. Nahanap yung receipt. So, di solve for X ka dyan. Disbursements, 1,440. And then, ending balance, yung December, 3,160. Okay, solve for X. 3,160,000 plus 1,440 minus 2,032,000, you get 2,568,000. 2,568,000. So, lagyan natin dito, 2,568,000. Answer natin, letter boy, 2,568,000. Doon naman tayo sa bank naman. Ganun lang din. So, gawin natin cash. Meron tayong beginning, 1,890,000. And then, meron tayong receipts na hanap. So, solve for X. Disbursements, 1,080,000. And then, December, 2.9 million. Solve for X, 2.9 million. Plus 1,080,000 minus 1,890,000. You get 2,090,000. Easy. 2,090,000. So, lagyan natin dyan. Sa receipts, 2,090,000. So, again, beginning plus receipts minus disbursements. Yan yung ending balance mo. Okay? Answer letter C for number 9. 2,090,000. Sige, complete na natin. Balik tayo dun sa given. Nakita mo yung outstanding checks and deposit in transit. Nakita mo yan? So, deposit in transit muna. DIT. 2 months yan. Okay, so lagay ko DIT for November and DIT for December. Ganito gagawin ko dyan, class, tingnan mo mabuti. Doon mo tayo sa November. Alam natin pag DIT plus yan. Okay? Plus, ito. So, how much? DIT November, 80,000 plus 80,000. DIT December, how much? 498,000 plus 498,000. Now, Okay, focus ka dito. Kasi kailangan mag-adjust din tayo sa receipts and disbursements. Tandaan mo, class, yung receipts and disbursements na yan, related yan sa December. Okay, ibig sabihin, iyan yung receipts and disbursements na ni-record ni bank for the month of December. Titingnan na. Yung receipts and disbursements, iyan yung ni-record ni bank for the month of December. Okay. Yung 80,000 na yan, na dineposit ni company natin, ni book, kailan niya dineposit talaga yan? No November pa. So, yun yung susundin mo kung kailan talaga nangyari yung transaction. Kailan dineposit? November. Kailan ni-record ni bank? December. Mali si bank. So, ang gagawin ko dyan, syempre, pag deposit, malamang receipts yun. Di ba? Na-receive yun. Ang gagawin ko dyan, magma-minus 80,000 ako sa receipts. Kasi dapat, November pa lang ni-record na ni bank yan. Sir, ano ulit yung pa-follow natin? Kung kailan talaga nangyari yung transaction. Kailan ka nag-deposit? November. Kaya lang late na-receive ni bank. Kasi in-transit nga eh. December niya na-receive. Okay? Pero dapat ito yung sundin mo. Dito naman tayo. Same logic. Kailan natin dineposit? December. Kailan ni-record ni bank? January. Pero kailan dapat ni-record ni bank? December. Kasi dun nangyari talaga yon. Therefore, kailangan mag-plus 498,000. Okay, so sa una nakakalito, pero as we practice, magigets nyo na yan. Doon tayo sa outstanding checks. Oh, November and December na naman yan. How much yung November? So una mong gagawin, mag-bank recon ka muna sa 2 months. Okay, sa November, how much yung outstanding checks natin? 180,000. Alam natin, minus yung 180. Tama? Outstanding checks. And then December, 592,000 minus 592,000. O, analyze natin. Kailan ka talaga nag-issue ng check? November. Alright? Kailan na-receive ni bank yan? Kailan niya clear? December. Yun, di ba yun yung outstanding checks? Ibig sabihin na late yung clearing ni bank. Tama? So, ulitin ko. Kailan ka nag-issue ng check? November. Kailan clear ni bank yan? December. So, dito niya ni-record ni bank. Tanggalin natin kasi November pa dapat yun eh. So, magba-minus ako dito na 180,000. Ayan yung adjustment ko. Isa pa. Kailan natin in-issue yung check? December. Kailan clear ni bank? January. Mali yun. Dapat December kasi December talaga tayo nag-issue ng check. Therefore, wala dito yan. Dapat nandyan yan. Kaya magpa-plus 592,000 tayo. Gets na. Okay, so later magpa-practice pa tayo. Pero basically, ganun siya. Ang magiging concept lang dyan, kailan talaga nangyari yung transaction, yun yung sundin mo. Okay? Now, ito yung sinasabi lang para mas madali mo siyang matandaan. Okay? Pag daw magkatabi, opposite signs. Ano mo? Plus, minus. Magkatabi. Okay? Ito, magkatabi yung adjustment na to, di ba? 592 plus, ito minus. Pag naman magkalayo, magkamukha naman yung sign. Okay? So, ito yung adjustment natin. Magkalayo. Tama? Hindi siya magkadikit eh. Ayan. Magkalayo sa plus, plus. Minus, minus. Okay? Pag magkadikit daw, magkatabi, opposite signs. Pag magkalayo naman, same yung signs. Okay? So, yung class, syempre, ayoko na ganun yung... Ibig sabihin, pwede rin yun. Pero dapat alam niyo yung reason kung bakit ganun, ha? Kaya in-explain ko muna kung bakit ganito yung adjustments. Pero parang sa bilis sa board exam. Okay, para dito, sa DIT and outstanding checks, and CM and DM, pwede mag-apply yung rules na yan. Pag magkalayo, same yung sign. Pag magkalapit naman, different yung, opposite yung signs. Okay, so, sige. Siyempre, hindi yan applicable sa errors. Kasi sa errors, depende sa nature ng errors. Okay? O, sige, practice pa tayo. Next. Check erroneously charged by bank. O, yan, error. Bank yan, di ba? So, dito siya. Error. November and December. Check erroneously charged by bank against entity's account and corrected in subsequent month. Ano nangyari dyan, class? Ang ginawa ni bank, okay, so ang ginawa ni bank, check erroneously charged by bank against entity's account. Basically, binawasan niya yung bank account mo. Okay? Tapos, kinorek naman niya next month. Ganun nangyari. So, may bank error yan. So, paano gagawin natin, Sir Jan? Well, yung balance per bank mo na yan na 1,890, merong naka-minus si bank dyan. Sinarge siya na mali. Okay, so gagawin ko dyan, na-add back ko yan. Plus 80, plus, so how much yan? Plus 40,000. Does that make sense? Kasi chinarge ni bank yung account mo, dapat hindi. So add back natin yan. Doon naman sa December, 50,000. O, plus 50,000 ka. Plus 50,000. Okay, sige, analyze natin class. Analyze natin ha, ano yung epekto niya sa receipts and disbursements. Sige, ito muna. Sabi dyan, check erroneously charged by bank against entity's account and corrected in subsequent month. Kinorek naman ni bank. Okay? Paano niya i-correct yan? Yung 40,000. Well, ang nangyari dyan, kinorek niya noong December. So, binawasan niya yung account mo dito sa November, kinorek niya, dinagdagan niya yung account mo noong December. Which is, dapat hindi nangyari yun. Okay? Kasi error ni bank yun eh. Dinagdagan niya yung receipts mo. Kasi kinorek niya eh. So, nag-minus siya dito, na-realize siya, ay mali pala. Binalik niya. So, dinagdagan niya yung receipts. Okay? Kaya mag-minus 40,000 ka dyan. Okay? Ito naman, class, yung 50,000 ang ginawa ni bank, chinarge siya yung account mo noong December. Ibig sabihin, nilagyan niya yung disbursements mo. Tama? Nirecord niya as disbursements mo. Dapat hindi pala. Okay? So, that's why, nandito yun. Yung 50,000 na yun, nandito yun. Naisama ni bank dyan erroneously. So, dapat wala dyan. Kaya magma-minus kang 50,000. Alright? So, again, pag errors, kailangan mong i-analyze. Walang pattern sa errors. Unlike ito kanina, may pattern, di ba? Pag magkalapit, opposite. Pag magkalayo, same signs. Sa error, walang ganun. Tingnan mo to. Ito, adjustment mo sa receipts. Ito naman, adjustment mo sa disbursements. Okay? So, kailangan mo i-analyze. Sige. So, compute na natin yan. How much yung mga balance niyan? Dito mo tayo sa November, 1,890 plus 80,000 minus 180 plus 40,000. You get 1,830,000. Ito yung mga adjusted balances natin. 1,830,000 for November. Yung receipts naman, 2,090,000 minus 80 plus 498 minus 40,000, 2,468,000. Let's go to disbursements. 1,080,000 minus 180,000 plus 592,000 minus 50,000. You get 1,442,000. And then December, 2.9 million plus 498,000 minus 592,000 plus 50,000, 2,856,000. Okay. Tapos na tayo dun sa per bank. So yeah, let's go dun sa per books. Actually, dapat equal yan. Dapat equal sila. Bank service charge. Oh, bank service charge. November and December. Pag bank service charge, alam natin minus yun. Tama sa bank record. So magma-minus tayo dito ng 2,000. And then, sa December naman, how much? 4,000 minus 4,000. Sige nga, analyze natin. So, books yung pinag-uusapan natin. Okay? So, dapat yung bank service charge na yan, ganito nangyari kasi yung klase. Kung gagawa ka ng timeline, pwedeng ganito yan. Ha? So, November 30, okay? December 31. Alright? So, ganito nangyari dyan. For example, na-receive natin yung bank statement December 5. Yun yung bank statement natin para sa November. And then, let's say, January 5 mo naman na-receive yung bank statement para sa December. Okay, ganito yan ha. Yung bank service charge na yan, as of November, hindi mo pa alam yan. Nalaman mo lang yan nung na-receive mo yung bank statement noong December. Okay? So, kaya nag-minus tayo. Minus 2,000. Kasi, charges sa atin yan. Bank service charges, syempre minus yun. Ngayong class, kailan mo na-record yan? Yung 2,000, kailan mo ni-record sa books yan? Nung na-receive mo yung bank statement. So, ibig sabihin, ni-record mo siya, nandito siya. Kasi ito, month of December yan. Okay? Since na-receive ni books, assumption ko lang yung December 5. Usually kasi late mo na-receive yung bank statement. Since nakita ni books yung bank service charge noong December, sa December siya nag-record. Na dapat hindi. Dapat no November yun. Kasi November talaga nangyari yung bank service charge. Therefore, mag-minus tayo ng 2,000. Dito naman tayo. 4,000. Si Books, na-receive niya yung bank statement January 5. Assumption yan. Na nakita niya doon, uy, may bank service charges pala tayo noong December. So, yung 4,000 na yan, na-record ni Books yan noong January pa. Kasi January 5 niya, na-receive. Okay? Pero dapat, ni-record niya yan noong December. Kasi yung bank service charge, December talaga nangyari. So, dapat mag-add siya dito sa disbursements. Plus 4,000. Okay, so ganun siya. Again, pwede mong i-follow yung pattern. Magkalayo, uy, same sign. Magkadikit, magkalapit, opposite signs. Okay, so pwedeng ganun. So depende sa, as long as naiintindihan mo kung bakit ganyan yung adjustments. Next, bank service charge, and then may collection tayo, yung last item. Collection, November and December. Okay, note recorded as cash receipts by entity when placed with bank for collection, and note is actually collected by bank in the subsequent month and credited by bank to entity's account in the same month. Anong nangyari dyan, sir? Basahin natin, dahan-dahan lang. Note recorded as cash receipt by entity when placed with bank for collection. And note is actually collected by bank in subsequent month and credited by bank to entity's account in the same month. Okay, ganito nangyari. Noong November, nagbigay tayo ng notes kay bank, 200,000. Okay, notes receivable. Okay. Noong November, 200,000. Nirecord na natin agad yun sa books natin na 200,000. Pero, na-collect talaga ni bank yun from the customer, no? Sa yung customer sa bayad, sa bank nagbayad. Na-collect na ni bank yun talaga nung December pa, hindi nung November. So, susundin natin kung kailan talaga nangyari. So, ang tama dito si bank. Okay? So, ang ginawa ng company natin, ni-record niya yung 200,000 nung December. Yung 300,000, ni-record niya nung January. Ganun siya. So, ang gagawin ko dito, ni-record niya nung November, mali. Dapat, so minus 200,000 tayo dyan. Dapat sa December pa niya i-record yan eh. Ngayon, yung isa naman, nung December, mali din. Dapat January pa niya i-record yan. Okay. Now, tingnan natin, paano yung adjustment dyan? 200,000, kailan talaga na-receive ni bank yan? Subsequently daw. Ibig sabihin, nung December. Therefore, mag-plus 200,000 tayo dyan. Okay? Yung 300,000, kailan na-receive talaga ni bank yan? January pa. Kaya lang ni-record natin sa books natin nung December. So, mali yun. Minus 300,000. Uy! Magkalapit, opposite sign. Magkalayo, same signs. Okay? So, yun. Pwede rin yan. So, tingnan natin how much yung adjusted balances nating class. Okay. So, for November, 2,032,000 minus 2,000 minus 200,000, you get 2,230,000. Oh. Parang mali. Ulit. 2,032,000 minus 2,000 minus 200,000, 1,830,000. Receipts, 2,568,000 plus 200,000 minus 3 million. 3 million ba yun? 300,000 lang pala. You get 2,468,000. And then, disbursements, 1,440,000 minus 2,000 plus 4,000, 1,442,000. And then, December balance, 3,160,000 minus 4,000 minus 300,000. You get 2,856,000. Okay. So, yun, equal sila. Okay, equal lahat yan. Therefore, ang sagot natin class, dun tayo sa question number, tapos na tayo sa question 8 and question 9. Question 10, how much is the adjusted cash in bank balance November 30? O yan, 1,830,000. 1,830. Letter boy. 11, how much is the adjusted cash in bank balance of December 31? 2,856,000. Letter dog. 12, how much is the adjusted receipts? 2,468,000. Letter C. And then, how much the adjusted cash disbursements? 1,442,000. Letter A. Okay, 1,442,000. Ayan. So, I think medyo, kahit pa paano, medyo nakuha na natin yung proof of cash pero hindi pa tayong ganun ka-expert. So, kaya mag-practice pa tayo. Doon tayo sa problem number 4. Same procedures lang gagawin natin. And okay lang, erase ko na ito class. Sige, i-retain natin yung... Okay, so i-retain... So, erase ko na. Retain din. Dapat na tayo magagamit dyan halos. Okay, so erase. Erase na natin to. And kasi hindi naman, I think yung months dito, January and Feb. Okay, so walang, actually wala halos tayo magagamit dyan. Tingnan natin. Let's read the given. Ayan. Mastery Company provided the following data concerning the cash records for the month of January and Feb. So, ganun pa rin, binigyan tayo ng information about book and bank. Ayan. So, again, pag proof of cash, Prepare ka agad ng 4 columns. So this time, bahin natin yung date, January and Feb. Jan and Feb. Okay. And then for the bank, January and Feb. Okay, sige. Book balance, January 31. And then, meron tayong total cash receipts and total cash disbursements. O, dilagay natin dito yan. Per books yan. 1.9 million. And then, receipts daw, 1.4. And then, disbursements, 2.4. Alright? So, ganyan nangyari. Now, ang tanong sa question number 14, how much is the adjusted balance per book as of Feb 28? O, tinatanong ito. O, alam natin, beginning, plus receipts, minus disbursements, yun yung ending natin. O, add natin. 1.9 million plus 1.4 million minus 2.4 million, letter A, 900,000. Sagot mo dyan. 900,000, letter A, for question number 14. 15. O, tingnan natin. How much is the adjusted balance per bank? O, tingnan natin. Bank balance, 2.1 million. O, lagay mo dyan. 2.1 million. And then, total charges. Disbursements yun, charges eh. How much? 2.5 million. Total credits, again, pag si bank, credit ka, ini-increase niya yung balance mo. So, receipts yan. That is 1.2 million. Beginning, plus receipts, minus disbursements, yun yung ending mo. So, complete natin. 2.1 million, plus 1.2, minus 2.5 million, letter, how much yun? 800,000, letter A. 800,000. Yan yung unadjusted balance per bank as of Feb 28. Okay. NSF check. Okay, NSF. Siyempre, sa books yan. NSF. Medyo mas mabilis ha. Medyo mas mabilis. January and Feb. Sabi ni Sir, adjust ko daw agad yung 2 months. Parang bank recon lang. Pag NSF, minus yan. Siyempre. Minus 60,000. And then, minus 40,000. Okay, so saan yung NSF? Sa disbursements yan. O, magkalayo yung sign. Pag magkalayo yung sign, same sign yan. O, magkalayo yung adjustment. Dito naman, magkalapit, opposite signs. Okay, pero again, na-explain ko na earlier kung bakit ganyan yung adjustments. In the board exam, if ever lumabas yung proof of cash, alam mo yung pattern. Okay, again, yung pattern, nag-a-apply siya sa credit memos, debit memos, deposit in transit, outstanding checks. Hindi siya nag-a-apply sa errors. Sa errors, kailangan talaga natin i-analyze yan. Okay? Next, collections of AR not recorded by entity and corrected in subsequent month. O, tignan natin. Okay, actually, error yan ni book. Okay, so error ni book. I-analyze natin yan. Error, January and Feb. Tignan natin class ha. Collections of AR not recorded by entity and corrected in subsequent month. So, dapat ni-record mo. Okay? So, dapat ni-record daw natin yung 30,000 plus 30,000 yan. Sa January. And then, sa Feb naman, plus 50,000. Ngayon, anong nangyari, class? Kinorek daw no subsequent month. Error yan. Dapat hindi nangyari yan. Okay? Paano mo i-correct ng subsequent month? Well, hindi mo ni-record sa January. Ibig sabihin, sa December niya ni-record. Dapat hindi. Dapat sa January yan. Okay? So, collection yan. Edi receipts yung apektado dyan. Tama? Minus 30,000. Yung 50,000 naman, nagkamali ka ng hindi mo na-record. Okay? Kailan mo na-record yung 50,000? Nung January pa. Okay? Dapat nung December na-record mo siya. Kaya, mag-add 50,000 ka. Gets? So, ayan. Medyo kailangan mag-isip-isip. Kapag errors kailangan mag-analyze talaga. Next, overstatement of check. Error na naman. Kay books. January and Feb. Check payment of salaries corrected in subsequent month. Overstatement of check in payment. So, ibig sabihin, sobra yung nabawas natin sa cash. Tama? Overstatement, check payment. So, minus 90, sobra yung bawas natin. So, kailangan increase natin. Ibalik natin sa tama. Okay, so plus 90. And then, plus 120 para sa Feb. O, tingnan natin ha. Ano yung adjustment natin sa receipts and disbursements? Corrected in subsequent month. O, tingnan mo to ha. Gagawin ko. So, sobra-sobra yung may overstatement tayo. Okay, sobra yung nabawas natin sa cash. Kaya nag-add back tayo. Eh, kinorek daw no subsequent month. Paano i-correct yun? Well, in-add back niya noong December. dapat, in the first place, hindi nangyari yung error na yun. So, kung in-add back na yun, ibig sabihin, nag-plus siya dun sa receipts. Oh, edi minus mo yan. Kasi dapat, hindi naman talaga nangyari yung error na yun eh. Gets? Okay, dito naman tayo. 120. Sobra-sobra yung nabawas ni entity ng company natin. Paano ka ba nagbabawas? Disbursements. Okay, so ibig sabihin, sobra-sobra yung disbursement siya noong December, mag-minus 120,000 tayo dyan. Gets? Yung isa, adjustment sa receipts. Yung isa, adjustment sa disbursements. Alright? So, tingnan natin yung balance nila. Okay, 1.9 million minus 60,000 plus 30,000 plus 90,000. 1,960,000. Adjusted balance, 1,960,000. Receipts naman tayo, 1.4 million minus 30,000 plus 50,000 minus 90,000. You get 1.4 million minus 30,000 plus 50,000 minus 90,000. 1,330,000. Disbursements, 2.4 million minus 60 plus 40,000 minus 120,000. You have 2,260,000. And then Feb, 900,000 minus 40,000 plus 50,000 plus 120,000. You have 1,030,000. Last, for bank naman. Deposit in transit. Uy, deposit in transit. January and Feb. Siyempre, pag DIT plus 130. Sa Feb naman, plus 260. Okay? Deposit, siyempre, receipts yung apektado niyan. Oh. Pag magkadikit, minus yan. Minus 130. Ito naman, malayo. Oh, plus 260,000. Okay, yung shortcut natin. Outstanding checks. January and Feb. How much for January? 270,000 minus 270. And then, for Feb, 30 minus 30. Uy, checks. Ibig sabihin, disbursements yan. Tama? 270, magkalayo, minus 270. Same signs. 30, magkadikit, opposite signs, plus 30,000. Okay? Para mas mabilis tayo mag-analyze. Alright, so, tingnan natin. Adjusted balances. Doon muna tayo sa January, 2.1 million plus 130,000 minus 270,000, 1,960,000. Adjusted. Receipts, 1.2 million minus 130 plus 260,000. You have 1,330,000. Disbursements, 2.5 million minus 270 plus 30,000. You get 2,260,000. And last one, Feb, 800,000 plus 260,000 minus 30,000. You get 1,030,000. Oh, plus, dapat equal yan ha. 1,030,000 to 260, 1,330, and 1,960. Okay? Let's go to the questions. Question number 16. How much is the adjusted cash in bank balance of January 31? 1,960. Letter C. Number 17. How much is the adjusted cash in bank balance Feb 28? 1,030,000. Letter A. 18. How much is the adjusted receipts? 1,330,000. Letter boy. Number 19. How much is the adjusted disbursements? 2,260. Letter dog. Okay. Class, ulitin ko. Proof of cash, very low chance lang na ilabas sa board exam yan. Okay, so if I were you, ang suggestion ko, mag-rely ka na lang dito sa dalawang problems na sinagot natin sa handouts natin. Okay? Enough na yan para sa proof of cash natin. Okay? So that's it for audit of cash.
And we are live with some guys. Welcome to Friendship Podcast, man. Regular edition. We got a Zoom call for y'all with the Castle Club members, and you know, might let some haters call in too.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Let's go.
All right, we're back. What's up, guys? Welcome to Friendship Podcast, man. So, quick announcement before we get into the show, guys. So, next week, as you guys know, I'm doing my solo show on Myron Gaines X on my YouTube channel. I do that at 5. We're going to start doing Fresh and Fit at 8 o'clock. Okay, guys? Starting next week, 8 p.m. Start time. It'll be sharp. So, you guys are going to see the banner screen probably come on at 8. And then shortly thereafter, we're going to do the show.
Yes.
You know, some guys live far from the studio. So, we're, you know, obviously trying to get around.
Doing it right on time.
Yeah, well, doing it on time, but also so they can avoid the rush hour traffic. Because South Florida guys, anyone that lives here knows traffic is really fucking bad, man.
One block is like 20 minutes.
Yeah, man.
So it's
really
tough.
bad. So
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, we will we'll be starting at 8 p.m. sharp next week. You guys know with the Night Train show, I've been going 5 o'clock sharp every time. The banner screen's on at 5 p.m. right, and then we start talking about some stuff. And I don't think I'm gonna be using the Fresh Fit channel next week when I go live on the Myron Gaines show, guys. Or I gotta find a title for the fucking thing, but we call it Night Train right now. I'm not gonna be. It's gonna just be Myron Gaines X. So if you guys want to listen to the political, cultural commentary, etc., I did a bunch of stuff. I talked about Doge today. I talked about Vivek Ramaswamy, him leaving Doge. I talked about Candace Owens and Brett Cooper, how Jeremy Boring said some underhanded things about Brett Cooper. I did a whole breakdown on that. The raids that's going on with immigration. So if you guys like that type of stuff, I'm doing that every single day, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. And then we're going to go ahead and follow that up with Fresh and Fit right after at 8 p.m. And then after hours after that, Fresh and Fit Monday, Wednesday, Friday as usual. Monday, Womanizer Wednesday. Then Friday, either it's a call-in show or we got a special guest. After hours will be after all of that. And then I think Fresh might go at 3.
Yeah, 3 p.m. So I'm getting some things done with my personal studio. And once that's finished up, we'll do more guests. But for now, 3 p.m. solo shows on a fresh start on Rumble and YouTube.
You gonna start that next week?
Yeah, next week.
All right, so start 3 p.m. niggas. You guys will be having
Hella content, man.
Yeah, hella content, man. Yeah. So from 3 p.m. all the way damn near till 8 p.m. You guys will get a solo, and then you guys will get the show by itself. Obviously at 8 p.m. So.
The grind don't stop.
Yeah, so we're going to take over 2025. What are you going to cover on your stuff? Can you tell them a little bit about your channel?
This is my idea that I want to do for the guys. Like, for example, breakdowns. For example, we'll do like a pre-money Mondays. We'll do, for example, another one where about cars, about dating, and as well, as you guys know, I love jewelry. So jewelry and then markets. We'll do like a 5-day split of some of those topics. Or whatever's trending. So. All right.
So yeah, man, you guys are going to get way more content. We got the Zoom call open right now for our Castle Club guys.
Yeah.
What we'll do is we're going to prioritize Castle Club calls, and we'll let
some haters call in.
Some haters call in too. I know some of you guys probably have some shit you want to say. It's been a minute since we've let haters call into the show. So if you guys want to go ahead and call into the show and talk some smack, we'll give you that chance right now.
You can roast me, roast Myron.
Yeah.
Roast us both.
Noble, Mo.
Please call in.
Bills, anybody. Really. So yeah. What's the number to call into the show again?
61 something. Spit on the screen.
646-490-0394. We have to get a new phone number, guys, because Blog Talk Radio is trash, and they fucking canceled.
I think they just stopped their service altogether.
Yeah, they basically like quit.
But this is Friday, man. So Mo, you got any updates for yourself for weights? What's going on? Cool. So we're gonna do the actual call-in as well. But in the meantime, guys, listen. I understand that there's a lot of things going on in the political space. But inauguration was a lot of fun, man. I got to see people in person, talk to them. And listen, I understand people hate people on the internet. And in person, they're pretty cool, man. It may be some like ideology behind why you don't like them, but in person, it's a whole different story. But then again, would you ever see them in person? If you're not like in these spaces, probably not. So that's a fair thing to say too as well. But on X, I know people have their own takes on things. But nonetheless, though, man, it was fun. Just so you guys know, a recap. I did that on my Fresh Start channel. The whole recap about meeting Brett Cooper, Ben Shapiro, and as well Austin Tatum. And yeah,
Why
we'll
do
do
you
more
think she
topics.
left Daily Wire? Why do you think she left Daily Wire?
To be honest, bro, she didn't tell me why personally, but I'm assuming it's because they found a replacement for her that they felt like they could, I guess, boss around, I guess, or tell them what to do. I don't know.
Well, what do you think what do you think the grievance was?
It's hard to say. Politics? Maybe she wasn't what they needed to push an agenda. I don't know. It could be anything. What do you think?
Talked about this a little bit earlier. I think she probably either wanted more money or more creative control.
Oh,
That's what I think. But I don't think she got removed for like having a base take like Candace. They got rid of her for being critical of Israel. I don't think Brett Cooper had any of that. I think she just maybe wanted more money, more creative control, and they said no. That's what I think. Because she doesn't strike me as like someone that go against the grain. She's a very normie conservative commentator.
but my thing, who's gonna take her?
That's why they call her Mini Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, who's gonna take her place though? Because
Her
I don't.
friend.
Huh?
Her friend took over.
Yeah, but she's not.
They
Brett.
say that, but they say the same shit. That's the point. It literally, if
Yeah.
anything, it proves the point that like, yo, these bitches aren't different, bro.
Yeah,
They literally replace her
Replaceable.
with another girl, and they say the same fucking shit.
replaceable. Yeah.
Extremely replaceable. The only reason that Brett Cooper is popular with Daily Wire getting rid of her is because Daily Wire got rid of Candace for censorship. So it's not that Brett Cooper is cool or based. It's that they got rid of Brett Cooper. No one knows why because she's under NDA. But we do know last time they got rid of someone is because of censorship with Israel. So Brett Cooper is actually benefiting from the anonymity of why she got kicked off. But I promise you, it's not because of her being outspoken on any base topics. It's because she probably either A, wanted more money, B, wanted more creative control, or C, maybe some more time off because she just got married.
Okay.
Or maybe a combination, maybe some disdain for each other behind the scenes, but it definitely isn't nothing to do with Israel. Brett Cooper is not that smart and or that politically engaged like that.
You think if they got rid of Matt Walsh, that would
That'll fuck them up even more.
yeah. I saw
But
there
see,
too.
here's the thing. Since they have these people under NDAs, we don't know why they get them off. But we do know when they got Candace off, it was for censorship.
Yeah.
So now Daily Wire's put themselves in a very bad spot. Anyone that gets fired from Daily Wire in this point forward, they're going to assume it's because they're trying to censor them. Does that make sense? Because they set such a bad precedent with Candace Owens. And Brett Cooper, interestingly enough, benefit from this immensely. But she's not based at all. She has the same exact takes as this Regan dummy. Most female political conservative commentators are not based at all. A lot of them are feminists secretly. A lot of them believe in egalitarianism. A lot of them believe in Christianity until, it doesn't benefit them anymore. Like, it's all cap, man. It's a lot of the times these women are brought in because they're able to reach a broader audience.
Yeah.
That's why.
And they're likable.
They're likable, they're females, a lot of guys will send for them, and they bring in women into the conservative space because there's not a lot of them. Most women identify as liberal. So you bring in a 23-year-old, girl from next door look alike, right? And bam. I mean, the fact that they were able to replace her with another girl tells you they're not special.
Yeah.
That proves everything. So it's not that Brett Cooper is base. It's that she probably wanted some other shit that Daily Wire didn't want her. I'm going to err on the side of money. I think it has to do with money. She probably wanted more.
If you're doing
Or more creative
Daily
control.
Wire,
One of the two.
Can you have your own channel?
Yeah, you have your own channel. But they control it.
Oh yeah.
That's why she had to make a whole new one.
Damn.
Yeah. That's the problem when you're like working with like these big
Companies.
Like they'll handle the marketing for you. They'll blow you up. Like Brett Cooper would not be big without Daily Wire at all.
Yeah.
No fucking way. Right? But They platformed her. She's 23. She's young, and she can appeal to a demographic that's hard for them to get. Right? So that worked out perfect. But something happened behind the scenes that we don't know about. Right? People assume it's censorship because of what they did to Candace. But that's what went down.
Oh yeah, why'd you cut your hair?
Why'd I cut my hair?
Well, your beard.
I got tired of the waves, bro.
Really?
Yeah, I got tired. The only reason I got this shit on right now is because it's fucking cold in here, man.
Put that shit on.
Yeah, but I got tired of it, man. Tired of brushing my hair and put on a nigga cap. So.
Yo, what you telling me? You're fresh. Got my waves in you, bro.
Yeah, nigga, I surpassed you, man. Now I'm done. I'm cut.
Oh, you quit.
Yeah, I don't want him anymore.
Bad.
Hey, man, retired on top, man.
Listen, the battle has been won from staying in the game. Thank
Hey,
you very much.
You don't even brush your hair, bro.
That's the point.
You got nothing, man.
Low care, and I'm still here.
Yeah, you got the fucking Brillo pad hair, man.
I'm still here. First caller.
Yeah.
What is
We'll
it?
zoom in. We'll fire up the phone lines.
That's pretty funny, man. Come on.
Okay.
Oh, we need
Yeah.
a dog in?
Yeah. All right, yeah, go ahead. Fresh Analyst first call. I gotta help these guys in the back.
All right, guys. We got up first Eddie. Go ahead, Eddie.
Hello?
What's up, bro? We got you.
Oh shit. That's cool. Hi,
You
what's
were
up,
on
Fresh?
live.
What's up, Myron? I just want to talk about money eventually. I just got into this job field. I'm a mechanic for Volkswagen.
Okay.
I just trade jobs and came from Honda. I took a chance for a Volkswagen, but I'm not getting the money I really want to get. They're only giving me a salary. So basically salary is 30 hours. I got to show and basically got start over from the ladder, I guess, for their sense, but I only came in as a C type.
Yeah, because you're
And they're
starting
not giving me jobs like
from the
that.
bottom,
So I'm trying to figure out, I guess, get to the point. I'm trying to figure out how to build my money quicker. Trying to debate should I leave the job or give the job a chance and start doing these classes I'm supposed to do? Because they want me to do these prerequisition classes, like a sort of assessments for me to get to touch the car.
Give me one
So-
more time the company that you work for again.
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen, right? Here's the thing, right, about mechanics that I see all happen all the time is they'll start a company like Volkswagen or Toyota or Honda, and they get
Yeah.
stuck in that company for years. And of course, at the very beginning, you can have low hours and low pay because you're a junior basically in that establishment. But you might have to mute, the video on your side. But here's the good part about it, right? This is what I think you should do as a mechanic, from my experience with my friends and people that I know, is they would work at these companies and then work after at their own shop or a friend's shop. Now hear me out.
Yeah.
If you have two jobs right now, the one with your main company, which is Volkswagen, and then for maybe like a shop, mom and pop shop, or for example, another bodywork shop, or for example, another
Like
mechanic shop.
independent shop.
Yeah, exactly. You can have both incomes coming in, but you can network with the other shop. So let me explain. Let's say you meet a customer, right? And the customer comes in for a service every week, or for example, does like a tune there at your shop, right? You can say, listen, if you need more work done on your car, I can do it here at my shop. Tell my phone number. Now, legally, you don't want to say you're doing this out there, but what I'm saying is that like you can kind of like put people towards your shop and then charge them a higher premium, or charge them like a fair price or a better price than dealership. But again, this is just me thinking of how to move around with the current job, take more money and more hours. But at the same time, you want to have your own shop eventually, because obviously you're working for a corporate company, doesn't pay that well, and you're kind of stuck there for years under their own tutelage. But if you have your own shop, you could put your own hours, charge your own prices, and then compete with the marketplace with your own shop. Make sense?
Yeah, of course. But this is my next question.
Yeah.
Not my question, but I get your point. But there's only one thing bad too as well. I don't have a vehicle yet. I'm driving a scooter right now.
Oh, a scooter.
And yeah, for work. I know it's crazy, but yes, for now I'm driving a scooter because I had an accident a couple months ago with my daughter. At least she's okay.
Yeah.
But
Thank God.
I didn't get no money out of it. It was
you
like
scooter
a
to
sort
work,
of like a hoopty, but it was a reliable hoopty. I got it fixed up. So it was a Honda Accord, 2000 Honda Accord. I fixed it up, everything, and then some woman in Hialeah, I decided to go over there, and then she crashes me and through the stop sign. It was her fault.
Bro,
Took the stop sign.
Tell me why my worst accident was in Hialeah too, bro. These women can't drive.
Dude, I haven't been over there for like 6 months, and I finally get to go in, and I finally enjoy it for the month. Almost a month going in there, and it finally hit me. I was like, I'm trying to avoid it so much, but you can't avoid every one of them.
Ready to connect. Click connect to show
listen,
now.
Like I said before, bro, this is a good plan. I'm telling you, it's a good plan. Even with a scooter, Uber to work, bro. Because what's
You are
gonna happen
connected
is
as the host.
you're gonna create.
Welcome, host.
Oh, one second.
You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface.
What's going on?
Yeah, no, we're doing the actual setup for the phone calls. But real quick, bro.
Oh.
So my guy Jay, he's actually a mechanic himself. He does body work as well. He sent me a message on Telegram, I believe, with some advice on mechanic path because obviously he's done it before. He's doing it right now. So hit him up on that private message. But in real time, bro, this is what I'm telling you. Have your job at Volkswagen, don't leave, and have another job at an independent shop. I'm telling you, work them both until this becomes better, which is an independent shop, and then go full independent. But at the same time, bro, for now, you got a job, which is good. You're making some money. Even though it's less hours, obviously you're a junior, that's normal. So keep working there, build your status up. And if you can, hey, boss, I work 30 hours, but I want to work more, see what they tell you. But find another shop that's independent, work on the weekends if you have to, and then build up that client list from there with the other shop, okay?
Yeah, but the thing is with the 30 hours is only guaranteed if I don't pass it. If I pass it, then I get the hours I'm supposed to get. But it's not guaranteed because they're not giving me too many cars. I've been doing more loop, and also I don't have ASCs also. So they're doing how you say certified through Volkswagen. They don't do ASCs over there. Just like Honda is certified through Honda. They don't do it. They don't use ASCs as well.
Oh, shit.
It's like certain companies use it. Like Toyota, they ask for ASCs, or Lexus, they ask for ASCs. I don't have that.
Well, do the test, bro, because if you do the test, it's way better for you anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
You gotta
That's
pass
why I didn't leave. That's why I was just
You
thinking.
gotta pass it, bro.
I'm gonna stick with it. Just go with it. It's always gonna be like that, harder first and start way up again. I just hate starting over.
Because I know guys that worked at, like, for example, Honda, Toyota, not working at Lamborghini, Ferrari. So you can work your way up that chain, bro. But again, having your customers, having your own independent shop is way better in the long, in the scheme of things. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Fresh.
All right, bro. Love.
Hey,
All right.
thanks, Myron, too.
All right,
Have a
later,
good day. Good night.
All right, bro. All right, who's up next?
We could do somebody from Couch Club, and then we could do a hater.
Yeah.
Haters that want
one
to call
hater.
to the show, 646-490-03894. We'll let some of you hater niggas call in. You guys got all that energy on the internet in the comment section and shit, so here's your opportunity to actually talk to us. Again, that number is 646-490-0394. Matter of fact, I'll even put it on fucking Twitter. Let some of these bitch ass niggas call into the show. Let's hit a supporter though on Couch Club though. Give y'all some value and entertainment both. Got Turbo, go ahead, bro.
Hey, I have a question on like keeping your mental state while working. Like, how do you keep your mental state good while like doing the grind, pretty much?
First, you want to take that one?
Well, the thing is with mental state is that it's very delicate, and as men,
Raj tipped $100. WF&F. We taking over 2025.
We definitely are.
let's go. Shout out to Raj, man. Yeah. So as men, we don't have an outlet to kind of like express ourselves to let things out. So we kind of like just hit the gym, talk to the boys, and that's pretty much it. But what helps guys is purpose and having goals. So in essence, bro, if you're focused on mental health and that's a part of your like setup where it could affect you with your journey, my thing is have goals that are constantly in your face. Like I used to wake up every morning, have a goal board, a dry erase board, all my goals, pictures, and I had as well an alarm on my phone saying, don't forget your goals every 3 hours. Sounds crazy, but like I was focused. That meant any distractions, anything that was like not gonna help me with my goals, I would avoid. And by default, having that purpose and passion, that drive, I was focused. I didn't care about having like, you know, all those things that my friends had or drinking. That was cool and all, but it was kind of like a takeaway. But the mental strength I needed was for my goals. So for me, personally speaking, I think for most guys, I would just argue that like the goals that you have in your life will help you move forward in that direction, and all the mental distractions that would come up are kind of put away because they're goals. But that's what I would say as one of the things you could do to kind of remedy that. That's what I would say.
Okay, I see.
Cool.
This phone thing cut off? He muted himself? Okay.
All right.
Phone lines are open, guys. Again, 646-490-0394.
We need hater, bro. Hater on the line.
You want to do it right now?
Let's do it.
I just unmuted Xander though.
Oh, you did?
Okay,
cool.
let's go to Xander, then we'll go to the phone lines.
And no one said they're a hater yet. So
Come on, haters, man. Say you're here in chat. Let us know.
Go ahead, Xander.
Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we got you.
We got you.
I'm putting a tweet out right now. too.
WFNF. WFNF, man. Screw all the haters. Let their hate be your sweat, man. I got a few questions for both of you guys. Let's see if I can get them real quick. So, question for you, Myron.
Mhm.
I have 3 jobs. So I work at a handyman service. I also work at a fast food restaurant and also DoorDash on the side. I'm 18 years old. I'm estimating I'm going to make about 40 to 60K this year. I'm looking into maybe getting a truck for my company, or not for the company. Well, not for my company, but for the company, the handyman service. I'm looking maybe to like a newer Ram, maybe like a Laramie, maybe 2016 and up. Probably to be estimated about $20,000 to $25,000. Should I buy cash or should I finance it? What's your take on it?
This is a question more for Fresh.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Car.
you can take it first.
So for your business, you want to buy a truck?
Yeah, because I work at a handyman service, so it's just better to have a truck, you know? I have a car. It's not really good with it. It's a job.
You make it 40K a year?
I'm estimating I'm probably going to make it this year, yeah. 40 to 60K.
Well,
6,000 pounds.
the thing is, bro, is
Yeah, I
like
think it's about that much, yeah.
when you buy the truck, what's the actual benefit with the business? Is it only to work with the truck, or is it going to help you like get more work as well?
I believe it just looks more like it looks more like a business look. Also, I mean, I live here in the neck of the woods. It's just much better, you know, to carry a bunch of loads around. It just would really help get the job done.
Because I know a bunch of guys that bought trucks, actually recently as well. And what happened was when they bought the trucks, they did it financing. They bought it pretty much like pre-owned new, which is kind of like a look for to have like, because there's a newer truck. Oh my God, I'm driving a new truck. And now they're upside down on the cars, 30, 40K. So the problem is, bro, is that like when you finance these cars, you're taking a price toll of phantom costs. What are phantom costs? These costs are actually like you don't see, which is insurance, wear and tear, gas, and of course damages like, you know, incidentals that happen to your car. So in essence, you're not just spending money on the truck, you're spending money on all these things involved with the car. So this is what I would do to be really safe and smart about it. I'll buy the cheapest, oldest, well endowed, well set up car that's been serviced and checked